Lights out on the hour. It is the hour of the time. Lights out for the curfew of your body, soul, and mind.
You are listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Throughout the history of this country, it has been an honored profession, the service of one's country, by enlisting or becoming an officer in one of the branches of our military forces. One man in our history who made the military service his very life, the substance of his soul, the service to his country, was General Douglas MacArthur. He is a man who was loved by many, many people in this country, and he is remembered to this day. He was a man who was caught between the coming of a new age and what he had been taught that was the old age. He was a man who was to lead troops into the battle of really the last great war that was really fought for a purpose that everyone in the world knew and recognized and understood. Harry Truman had signed the United Nations Treaty, and the Senate had ratified it. He had also signed and passed into law the United Nations Participation Act. And it was those two acts, really, which sealed the fate of General Douglas MacArthur. For you see, by that act, we were relegated to fighting small wars for reasons other than what the public would ever understand. Wars designed to bring about a new world order, a world ruled by a United Nations, in a world propelled toward the destruction of sovereignty of nations. General MacArthur did not understand that at the time, and indeed, many of us who live today don't understand it. He didn't know how to fight a holding action. He didn't know how to stop at an arbitrary line when the enemy was routed in defeat. He didn't know how to lose a war on purpose. And for that reason, he was fired. I think eventually he came to understand it, however, and I think that you will be able to hear that in this speech. The speech that he delivered before the Corps of Cadets of the United States Military Academy at West Point on May 12, 1962, his alma mater. You see, General Douglas MacArthur was a member of the Long Gray Line. He was there to accept the Sylvanus Thayer Award for service to his nation. The general spoke without a prepared address, without even notes. And yet this moving address commits to words as never before the creed of the Long Gray Line. Indeed, it does much more than that. It honors with eloquence the American soldier, his courage, his sacrifice, and his deeds.
General Westmoreland, General Groves, distinguished guests, gentlemen of the Corps, as I was leaving the hotel this morning, a doorman asked me, "Where are you bound for, General?" And when I replied West Point, he remarked, "Beautiful place. Have you ever been there before?" No human being could fail to be deeply moved by such a tribute as this. Coming from a profession I have served so long, and a people I have loved so well, it fills me with an emotion I cannot express. But this award is not intended primarily to honor a personality, but to symbolize a great moral code. The code of conduct and chivalry of those who guard this beloved land of culture and ancient descent. That is the animation of this medallion. For all eyes and for all time, it is an expression of the ethics of the American soldier. And I should be integrated in this way with so noble an ideal arouses a sense of pride and yet of humility, which will be with me always. Duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. They are your rallying points to build courage when courage seems to fail, to regain faith when there seems to be little cause for faith, to create hope when hope becomes forlorn. Unhappily, I possess neither that eloquence of diction, that poetry of imagination, nor that brilliance of method to tell you all that they mean. The unbeliever will say they are but words, but a slogan, but a flamboyant phrase. Every pedant, every demagogue, every cynic, every hypocrite, every troublemaker, and I am sorry to say some others of an entirely different character will try to downgrade them even to the extent of mockery and ridicule. But these are some of the things they do. They build your basic character. They mold you for your future roles as the custodians of the nation's defense. They make you strong enough to know when you are weak and brave enough to face yourself when you are afraid. They teach you to be proud and unbending in honest failure, but humble and gentle in success. Not to substitute words for action, not to seek the path of comfort, but to face the stress and stir of difficulty and challenge. To learn to stand up in the storm, but to have compassion on those who fall. To master yourself before you seek to master others. To have a heart that is clean, a goal that is high. To learn to laugh, and yet never forget how to weep. To reach into the future, yet never neglect the past. To be serious, yet never to take yourself too seriously. To be modest, so that you will remember the simplicity of true greatness, the open mind of true wisdom, the meekness of true strength. They give you a temper of the will, a quality of the imagination, a vigor of the emotions, a freshness of the deep springs of life, a temperamental predominance of courage over timidity, of an appetite for adventure over love of ease. They create in your heart the sense of wonder, the unfailing hope of what next, and the joy and inspiration of life. They teach you in this way to be an officer and a gentleman. And what sort of soldiers are those you are to lead? Are they reliable? Are they brave? Are they capable of victory? Their story is known to all of you. It is the story of the American man-at-arms. My estimate of him was formed on the battlefield many, many years ago, and has